How's it going, people?
What am I doing?
Yes, this video is actually a bit unusual. We're actually going to be doing a discussion. Because, yeah.
Using different characters this time because this.
Or, you know, we can get a mirror match, sort of, but whatever. But anyway, December's closing in. December's closing in, which means a new patch is likely to soon happen for BBTAG. So, we're actually going to be discussing, like, what we want to see changed with some characters, but fair warning, there are some that I really don't think need to change.
Yeah, and behold, I'm using my old nightmare team. I'm using a new. Not any type of new. I'm using the penny color new.
You mean best color.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, but yeah, full disclosure, I really don't think Carmine needs to change.
I don't think I'm going to change at all. You just need to figure out how to work with them.
But let me just say this right now. There's one thing I would like to see changed about the system mechanics, and that's cross-combo active switching. So long as a character is doing a move during active switch, they should be considered active and as such not get the invul.
Yeah, the info is from Active it has a bit of delay.
It has like a small delay, but it does kind of mean the meta is over-centralized.
That's what I have to say.
Okay, but that's kind of one of those things I will say is like, okay, with new,
I do not know how to do.
don't worry, neither do I. But from what I've played against her, I think, like, one thing that needs to change is maybe reducing the damage on her JC, just because instant overheads, I think, that do a lot of damage, plus can combo after assists. Instant overheads in general are really good in this game. I mean, I guess the one exception to the rule would be Rachel, but that's beside the point. But that's, like, from what I understand. I don't quite know everything about the meta right now. You knew I was gonna frickin' do it.
I don't know what to do. Check out my...
Oh,
Check out my...
nice. That's unsafe on block. Good to know. You could have actually gone for an unblockable setup there, but that's beside the point. But anyway, it's like, new I really don't think needs to change that much. Again, maybe like the instant overhead needs like a small damage nerf.
I'm gonna get I'm gonna be surprised.
Okay, maybe that needs like projectile invul or something. Oh god, you could have actually followed up with that.
Ow.
Yeah, 236C you can actually follow up, but like I really don't think new needs to change much. Maybe like slightly weaken the instant overhead, but that's about it. Hakumen, again, I don't think needs to change. It's more like just the meta needs to shift. But I think like the one thing that I would like to see changed with Hakumen, if you hit a 5B air hit, let it combo into 5B. Like 5A on air hit knocks them down, but you need to be able to combo 5B, which it can't do right now. I'd like to see that small change, but that's about it.
I do would like to see that actually happen. Other than that, Hogwarts, you actually have a good character. We know how to use them.
Like, Hakumen takes some thought to use, but wow. Yeah, behind the scenes info, he cannot stand Weiss. Speak of the devil. Well, that was almost a read, but that's beside the point. Ugh. Okay, Weiss is interesting. I'll say this, Weiss is interesting. Not much needs to change, but there's like a few things that I think should. For the love of God, make Snow Flurry go full screen. Okay, you can't even deny me that needs to happen.
It needs to happen now. I mean...
Let's be real, like, you could use Snow Flurry for some instances, but just No, because if you just do a little more complex combo, Glacial Torrent's just better.
Yeah, but it's current full speed.
It's full screen, and not to mention, like, the weird part about Snow Flurry is that it can actually pass through the opponent and have nothing happen at certain reaches. Okay, I actually had something sick going there, and yet I had, I don't know, Merkava assists for shit. Oh, that was the wrong snowfall. But anyway, regarding Weiss, Snow Flurry needs to go full screen. 5B needs a lot less pushback on hit, because that needs to be consistent for crying out loud. Like, I think her assists are pretty much fine as they are. I tried to burst there, but let's see if I can do Merkava loops.
Ow. 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 No. 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 Yes.
Shit. I had the loop there, I fucked it up. That was distortion game. But right. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Merkava, I'd say like the main thing I'd like to see changed about him is just, for the love of Christ, his assists are terrible.
No. Ow. 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 Ow.
Fuck. That loop is not as easy as some people will make it look.
Ow. 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 Ow.
Oh, that could be death.
Dad.
I got the show of a loop once, damn it.
Once.
But yeah, with Weiss, Snow Flurry full screen, 5B less pushback. The second part of that auto combo needs a better horizontal reach. That's pretty much like the main things.
I am surprised that I actually won against this Weiss.
I mean, in general, I'm just one of those players who tries to get creative with Weiss. Also, despite the fact that her glyphs stay now, thank God, it feels like there isn't as much of a reason to use them because of how limited the placement is. Like, you can only place, like, one glyph a certain way at a time.
Yeah, but if you use the X glyph, well, what do you know? Fucking damn it.
Okay, just real quick, just to get this out of the way, like, you try to do 236A and hold it, you can't place another one without getting rid of that one. That, I think, needs to be removed, so that you can place them however you feel like.
Yeah.
So that at the very least, they are somewhat useful.
But yeah.
The other thing I will say about Weiss, Glacial Torrent needs to move faster.
Faster and have more recovery. And have more recovery.
Okay, yeah, a little more recovery, that'd be fair. But, in general, like, I think its travel speed needs to be heavily increased, because as a raw punish, it doesn't do its job half the time. With Merkava, I'd say the main thing is he should have, like, EX Fireball assist, maybe?
Yeah, EX Fireball would be good. But he does not EX Fireball.
No, he has regular.
Yeah?
Regular Fireball for assist. You saw it in the match.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And 5P, I just think needs to move a bit farther. That's about it.
Yeah, it's 5 needs to be like, I think,
Half screen.
maybe? Half screen?
So at the very least, it's useful to extend combos that, like, actually cause knockback, but that's about it. Like, those are, like, the only things I'd change in Merkava at this point. Like, his assists need to be better.
This just needs to be better.
With Weiss, again, like, her distortions need something. For fuck's sake, Snow Flurry needs to go full screen. I am sick of it not doing so. It needs to, I think it needs a little bit more startup speed, which is less startup time, and its minimum damage and resonance needs to be 2,000. But that's about it.
So yeah, but what do you know? New Rodman.
Well, maybe not the minimum damage buff, but the other two I think would be fine.
Yeah, the only thing that needs to work on with Weiss is have her attacks being more consistent and...
Just her distortions need to be a bit better, that's all. Alright.
So her assist needs to be better as well.
I gotta refresh for a second. And moving on. Alright. Mitsuru, I don't know, like, the first thing about her, but to be honest, I'm pretty fine with how she is right now.
But my is just like, oh my god.
My. Let's talk about probably the most controversial thing with Mai for a second. Her goddamn DP.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It is arguably... I would argue it's probably the most ridiculous DP in the game. The best in terms of covering all the bases is Carmine's, but in terms of in general, I still think Mine's is the best one. Just because DP assist setups, she can make herself plus on block in that situation, cause a left-right mix-up, combo after on hit. Like, what can't that DP do? I'm sorry. It's ridiculous. It's beautiful. It looks great on her. Like,
Yeah.
but I will still say Futaba's best girl in P5. In general, though, again, I don't think Mitsuru really needs to change.
Well, I think her 6P should change.
If it was like a little fast, maybe like a little faster, but that's pretty much the only thing I can think of. Oh, you're going for the sandwich.
Ouch.
That was beautiful.
Thank you for the help. Fucking DP. Fucking god.
Oh, I could have done so much worse with that, trust me.
I believe you.
Sadly enough, Mitsuru doesn't really have a way to make it
That is it, Ron.
disgusting. Freaking Marin Karen. Oh, there's the setup. You following up after it? No, you're not.
And I had it going. I distortion it?
Why did I do that?
Yoink.
I honestly meant to Bufula there.
Ow. Through a DP.
But yeah, nonetheless, I really don't think Mitsuru needs to change all that much, truth be told. We should definitely discuss mains at least once.
Yeah, we should talk about the mains.
Like, for a second here, because, like, to be honest, I do still think, like, there are some things that need to change about that could change about both of them.
Yeah.
Now, I might get some controversy because, like, my particular main is... My primary main is just very controversial to talk about.
I'm gonna go through my mains real quick.
Yeah, I did say I was playing these two during my trailer reactions, but that's beside the point. Yeah, for this one, we're not quite doing double randoms. I say we should at least play 2 games with these two so we can talk about at least a few things we'd like to see.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna probably move my Hyde to assist because his fucking 6P is disgusting.
Okay, no. Here's the thing. Orbiter assist, I'm for the most part fine with. It's... Like, in general, though, like, the only thing I'd like to see change about Hyde at this point is maybe a little less damage, and I think his assists just need less block stun. That's basically it. Because with how versatile his toolkit is, that's how it should be. But I think his assists definitely need less block stun. Except for Lotus, that's fine. Lotus is fine. Palebringer definitely needs less block stun, and I think Orbiter a little less as well. Pardon Hyde there, but that's beside the point. Like, I think for the most part, Hyde really doesn't need to change. Like, I think, like, maybe, like, his damage does need a little slight toning down, and I think the only thing I would change about his assist at this point is a little less block stun on Orbiter and at least a significant amount less on Palebringer, because that assist is retarded. Okay, there is actually one thing I would like to see changed with Vacant Shift. Less recovery on... Okay, actually, not less recovery on landing. More untackable knockdown time. Like the hard knockdown time, so that delayed Vacant Shift combos are a little bit easier. Alright, just a bit of post-commentary, because in labbing more things while reviewing the footage and editing, I always find some new stuff. Something interesting about Hyde. His hurt boxes are smaller than his collision boxes. Either that or they're just a lot more jank. This can actually cause some really stupid interactions, like one we're going to talk about later, and it can even cause, I guess, his Astral to miss on the last hit, even if the initial bullets connect. That's rare, but it can happen. So one thing I'd like to see change about Hyde, on top of everything else that I mentioned earlier, except maybe the damage, is adjusting his hurt boxes so that they're more consistent overall. That would be a very small nerf to Hyde, but it wouldn't be too terribly noticeable offhand. But with that, back to the main podcast. That could have gone a lot better, yes. Okay, Ruby, really it's mostly just hitboxes at this point. That's basically it. Shit, I dropped it. With Ruby... Yeah, I'm probably gonna refresh after this one real quick, just so I have enough time to discuss the next three, because we're gonna be here for a little bit with these two teams. Like I said, Hyde doesn't really need to change much, though.
I would say have his back order be around. It's just, never mind. This is actually decent.
His assists are actually disgusting, that's the thing, but I'll discuss that again for a second once I get them refreshing. Okay, real quick though, I need to refresh. You were saying?
Ruby, okay, I'm gonna put Ruby as this and have Hyde off for this, because I'm pretty sure this is gonna be kind of, you understand what I'm saying if I throw this out of your control.
Okay, we already discussed that point, but with Ruby's assists, I think they're fine as is. They are kind of, in my opinion, they're somewhat situational assists. The only time she prefers to be an assist character is with some characters like Gordeau, or somebody like that, but that's basically it. Most of the time she's a point character, and I really think the main thing I'd like to see change with her is some of her hitboxes really shouldn't go that far behind her. 5B, I'm looking at you.
I'm still wondering how Ruby's pedals dance
Can hit above her head.
has a... I'm just wondering how the fuck... Ow. Okay.
Okay, another small thing I'd like to see change with just a few characters. I talked about this before. I dropped the finisher there. The DP is actually not good at all, but that's beside the point. Okay, that right there, I hate that. Oh god, you're going for the kill. If that was Gyro Vortex, that definitely would have killed. Need to get Lene out of there. That's gonna be a dead Ruby in the process.
That's a dead Ruby.
Really though, Ruby, I think her 5B, maybe slightly reduce its hitbox behind her and slightly above her, because that should not be able to also serve as an anti-air. I'm sorry. JB, maybe just small hurt box extension downward, and that's basically really it. That was intended to be it right there. You fucking really just did that. Oh. I tried anticipating something else. You really just did that again. Yeah, we'll talk about that distortion later because I have a lot to say about it. But really though, that's most of what I would change about Ruby, truth be told. Just minor hitbox and hurtbox extensions on 5 issues on 5B and JB, and that's really it. In general, I think like the universal change to cross combo active switch would be enough to tone her down. So, not really much needs to change with Ruby either. Oh yes, Yang and Hyde, but we will discuss Yang for the moment because she's actually a very controversial topic.
Yes, all because
of the armor, the semblance, time freeze, enough said.
I have something really stupid, but at the same time, it's funny as fuck.
Oh, no. You want to see something even more stupid? You have 2 people pick Dordo and do the JC clash.
I was going to say, have both games do it, and fine, I watch a clash.
No, that's gonna be tough to do. I don't think it has a clashing hitbox. I've tried that with Slasher before, and that just doesn't work. I've tried.
Damn it.
It's gotta be, like, frame perfect.
Ow.
That was meant to be an instant air dash. No, you are not doing that shit with me. That's actually something a lot of people complain about, and I don't see why. Lowe's beat it clean.
Ow, ow, ow.
Should we show off the sheer stupidity that is Yang's fucking throw?
I know about where Yang just grabs and do it. Fuck it, just do it.
After I get off the sick combo,
So, there's a thing to hide.
I need to be in the corner and a little bit further back. A couple more steps back. Back, not forward, you fool. That's perfect.
Alright.
Oh, I pressed the wrong button. How the shit does that work? I'm sorry.
Going.
God, I love exploring some really jank shit with this game.
Well, like how much?
Kind of, but most people I know are actually kind of terrified of my Lene. Okay, so, like, the main thing I will say about Yang, about how controversial she is... Oh,
No.
it's shit like this, as we're about to see.
This time you beat. That's dead, Yang.
Yeah, you were out of range, that's the thing. I think, for the most part, I don't want Yang to change too much. If they have to nerf her because of scrub complaints, make it so that 5B is strictly body armor and Embers is strictly projectile armor. I'd prefer not to, but if that's how it's going to be, then that'd be interesting. That's something I did kind of consider, if you have to nerf her. I don't think she really needs to change much, and again, the cross-combo pressure nerf would be kind of a nerf to her in a sense. Because you'd still be able to punish Rising Fire if you're crouching, but that's beside the point.
But, yeah, waiting fire is, yeah. Running up Noel.
Okay, Noelle, you can take Noelle if I can take Chie, because, oh boy. Let's, full warning, if we discuss everything I want to see change with Chie, we're going to be here a while.
Yeah, we will definitely get real well. And I'm gonna be a dick to you and steal your Haru colors.
I don't care if you use them, like, it just looks good on Mitsuru, period.
And also, she is Akihiko.
No, you would have been real dick if you had used Akihiko, because I don't know why he has that color, not that I'm complaining.
Or the Futaba colors?
Exactly. And I'll say it now, I can't really choose whether I prefer Futaba over Chie, because they're both amazing. But we're getting off topic here. In general, though, like, I don't think... Okay, the main thing I will say about Noelle and what really needs to change with her is that I think her optic barrels need to be a good deal faster.
Yeah, it needs to be recovered more.
Less recovery. Like, in general, she just needs some kind of neutral. Because she's so susceptible to push block. Oh, I had it going there too, you asshole. That's actually something most Noelle players don't realize, is that a lot of that is not a true block string. Okay. You really just did that, you asshole. But in general, like, I think the main thing I'd like to see change with Noelle is just her optic barrels being faster. Her shenanigans are kind of like what I feel she should be relying on. I cannot figure out Mitsuru. I don't know what it is. You kind of deserve that.
I gotta do that, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going for the muscle flare.
Ow. Stop my resonance. Stop it.
Okay, interesting little thing. That's not gonna punish. I did the wrong one. Yeah, I did the wrong one. I could have ended it if I did the other one. Yeah, and I gotta refresh for a second because my timer's kind of low. You missed nothing. Literally nothing between that little small refresh. But anyway, regarding Yang though, I'd say like the only thing I'd like to see changed about her, and I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, making her ground fireballs a little bit faster in terms of startup. Like, their startup is kind of I think, well, mainly her 236A. That one just needs a little less startup time, but that's beside the point. Lene I still haven't talked about yet, but there's some faults that I am kind of pissed about. I still think she's really good, and I do think a lot of people sleep on her. Okay, the main thing I will say, 5B, where is your head in mole at? Because I can't begin to count the amount of times I tried to do it, and the head invol just wasn't there.
I need to change my damn credit card title to something else.
Yeah, that's probably, like, stuff we'd rather not discuss here. I know, like, your player card title, I know that, but, like, I'm guessing the reasoning is stuff we'd rather not talk about. Okay, I might need to adjust my switch for a second. There we go. Hold on a second, I need to adjust something. Move this back a little bit. There we go. Now we can see things perfectly. I got 3 words for you. You want some? Oh, Jesus. We'll discuss S later. For sure. Because I at least want S and Gordeau to be discussed. I'm taking Gord. But
Wait,
with Lene, first of all, to get her out of the way, like 5B needs some proper freaking head invul, because I swear to you, the amount of times I would try to use it for head invul and it just wasn't there.
that's a dead ass.
Did I mention Palebringer assist is actually kind of retarded? Oh god. I swear, I know what you're going for.
What are you talking about? No, man. What the fuck?
Yes, I actually know Lene confirms people. What of it?
I'm only I don't know how to kanji.
But, yeah, that's beside the point. Anyway. Like, her 236 distortion, I think, is terrible. Like, it's actually bad. The Dust Loop Wiki says it's your primary combo ender. It's not. Divine Chain is better.
Divine Chain is a lot better.
Where do I begin? It's not a true block string into itself, which sucks. It's unsafe unless you're in the corner and in resonance. Even then you can push block it beforehand, so that's an issue right there. And its minimum damage is actually inferior to Divine Chains. I checked.
Not even know how to Azrael?
I don't really think Azrael needs to change at this point.
If there was, the only thing that needs to be changed is his movement speed. That's about it.
Not even that, because he can just dash all over the place and create a free left-right mix-up. That, and I will say, like, Line's assists need at least some kind of enhancement, because as things stand, people underrate Lene just because her assists aren't bullshit.
I'm gonna be let's see.
And I got this on random, I'm not making this up.
God damn it.
The only other thing I can say about Lene is, like, her 5P needs more block stun. 4P, I'd be fine with them, like, giving it a better hitbox on its first hit, but a little less block stun in trade. That's fine. Pardon that. Nothing we can do. And I'd say her 6P just needs more untechable time, just so you can actually combo extend afterward with it. Like, her assist kit definitely needs, like, some small adjustments. But I'm fine with how things are for the most part. I just kind of question how 4P does a better job at doing lockdown than the lockdown assist.
If this is a podcast, the answer is a yes. It's a podcast.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it's going to be. And expect a lot of these regarding BBTAG, because I love this game to pieces. Jesus, I was not even aware of where you were going. I'm not letting you hit me with that.
Oh, yeah, that was gonna tell you good that shit. Ah, damn, I had a thing going.
I would have been surprised if... I'm actually kind of surprised that doesn't get the hit behind him. Yeah, I cannot Rachel very well with this team. If I'm playing Gord, I'm playing him with Blake. You really doing this?
Yes.
Here we go.
And I gotta remind me of with combat. Ow. And that's either
Oh boy.
why did you yell? That's the thing that you do.
That's death. I'm surprised that did not kill Azrael.
I'm surprised.
You are lucky that hit. You can... Are you going for it? No, you're not. You could have gone for a second one there. That was on counter hit.
How did I hit?
Don't question it. It's Gordeau.
That's bad.
But yeah, like mainly with Lene at this point, all I would say to change is like her 5B, giving actual head involve. Her assists just need to be a little bit better overall, and I would just say like her 236 distortion needs a pretty decent buff. More blocks done across the board, and the minimum damage of the regular version needs a buff. Just saying.
Yeah. The only thing that I actually care about. There are times and points that do casuals. That is it.
We do casuals, but at the same time we prefer to go all out, but that's beside the point. And gonna refresh once again. I honestly don't think Rachel, like, is super amazing, but I think she's good. It's, again, like that. I talked with you about this before we started this, but in my opinion, the only reason people don't consider her good is because she's not mindless. I'm throwing that out there right now.
I wasn't fixed Rachel's assist.
The only thing I can say is that, like, maybe make it so that her 6P throws out 3 Libelliums instead of just 2.
Yeah, and Barrel Loaded too.
No, she doesn't even have Lotus Barrel for her, so she has Sword Iris.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But, like, in general, that's, like, the only thing I could potentially see changed with Rachel.
Once we fill it with Azrael again.
Azrael, again, I don't think he needs to change. Aurier, I don't think needs to change either, to be honest.
Yeah, I think they fixed her already.
She's fine as she is, if you want my opinion.
Yeah, same thing fixed her distortion with it.
They only gave it a name change, but, like, that's, like, the only thing I will say that they should probably change with Aurier is, like, giving people more of a reason to use that distortion, like make its base damage better than Luminous Embrace, so if you're going to raw punish with it, it's just better.
Oh, this is a thing back in this golf with hold on. I had to go with Rachel.
Come at me, bro.
Did you even live?
Wrong way.
Oh, that's fine. Ow. Come on.
No invul. Black Hawk Dabber.
I feel like how we just both exchange our hits. Ow. Stop it. Really? Before B. Before B. Stop. Ow. That was kind of hit. That's a Rachel.
The youngest deck. I don't know, but that's beside the point. Like, in general, like, that's, like, the only thing I can say about Aurier is maybe make her base damage of Sacred Spire a bit better compared to Luminous Embrace, just so there's at least some reason to use it. But because you started it, and by the time I hit, the invul ran out. Oh boy. Okay, Hazuma I don't think needs to change. Okay. Should we just discuss the two characters that, like, should we just discuss S and Gordeau now and get them out of the way?
Yeah. Let's get rid of them. Yeah.
All I'm gonna say about Gord, why is 2B a low anti-air on frame 9 that can lead to so much damage? In general, I think my main problem with Gord is he can do too much damage for so much fishing.
So what I mean, it's going fishing.
Exactly.
Hey, I have a joke with Gordo. I'm going to say it now. Hey, Gordo, yo, what up? We have that giant for. Oh, we're fishing. I'm like, sold.
Yep. No, that's screwed up. I could actually imagine, speaking of Gord, his DP and how he freaking flies like a helicopter. I could just imagine him doing that all the way to the Amnesia base. It's like, and Hyde just looking up like, what the fuck is he doing? Okay, since I'm using Mika for a second, there's only one thing I want to see changed with her. That goddamn command grab distortion. It's complete ass. That was unsafe of me. As was that. Wee! Awkward moment number 153. And you're stuck, and I'm stuck in the floor now. I cannot figure out a good way to land that.
The only thing I want to see gone in this game are two characters.
To be honest, my personal opinion is Mika shouldn't have been here in the first place over Seth. But if we have to keep her, the only thing I would say is fix that command grab distortion. It's ass.
I would say, remember that one time we were testing out which would be Hyde's after all?
Apparently, Linnea's distortion does beat it out. That's like the only good thing about Kanagi is it can beat out some things, but that's beside the point.
Oh my god, well, do I have Phantom?
But in general, like, I think my main problem with Gordeau is he can do so much for just by fishing things out. 2B is a low for some reason. The way cross combos work just further enhance how bullshit he actually is. And for fuck's sake, Turbulence has way too much invul. I think it should run out after the first hit. Like, going into the second hit, it should run out. Maybe it does, I'm not so sure, but it feels like it has too much invul.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I could see change with Gord, make it so that EX Grim Reaper doesn't push back so goddamn far. That's like the only other thing. That's about it. Like, in general, I'm fine with, like, Gord being, like, a beginner-friendly character. The problem is, I think he's too beginner-friendly.
Yeah. Okay, so how is this? Beginner to event, which character are you going to put in order?
We'll discuss that another time.
Yeah, that's true.
Again, Yosuke I don't think needs to change.
Yosuke is more...
He's fine where he is.
He's fine as it is. He doesn't need to nerf or buff.
He doesn't need anything, really, and I think, like, the change to the meta at that point with the way cross combos should be changed, in my opinion, would actually help him. But I need to refresh for a second, then get my laptop charger.
Alright.
Alright, now what do you have to say about S?
For S, everything about S, it's 50-50. Some of it is good, some of it is bad. The most good part of it, if you have her assist, just...
God, where do I begin with her assist kit? She has pretty much everything. Her 4P I'm fine with, 5P I'm fine with. I think like both of them need like a damage nerf a little bit. Her 6P I think is bullshit. Like, I think all of her assists need a slight damage nerf. Very slight though. But the main thing I hate about 6P is how easy it is to just throw out.
Yeah, basically just spam her 6P and boom, that's it.
It's like, the problem I have with some assists is you just throw them out and they just work.
Just throw 6P in neutral and there you go.
It just works. Trust me on this. Like, I know this from having, like, actually dabbled in S for a bit. It just works. This was in random select. I'm not even making this up. You can see it on playback.
Fuck Weiss. Honestly, just fuck Weiss.
To be honest, don't lie. That's just personal bias. I'll say this. Weiss can be creative at times if you know what you're doing with your other character. Which, in this case, I can't Yosuke. That wasn't what I meant to do, but it looked cool anyway. Phrase.
Ow, ow. If I lose to Weiss, I'm gonna be pissed. Because I can go on a tangent on why I don't like Weiss in this game.
You don't like Weiss in general. The fuck are you talking about?
No. There's a difference between video game Weiss and movie Weiss.
What's the oh wait, Volume 1 and 2 Weiss, I forgot. Well, Volume 1 Weiss, I forgot.
There you go.
Yeah, Weiss in Volume 1 was a bitch. I'm putting that out there.
I could honestly say this. Video game Weiss, she is...
They tried to go for Volume 1 and 2 because those were the ones that Money Home was doing.
Tried going with Volume 1 and 2 Weiss, but at the same time...
No, they went with Volume 1 and 2 for Ruby's inclusion in general. The fuck do you mean?
A little bit of Volume 3 and 4 Weiss. Did they enter Volume 5 and 6?
No. They didn't go for anything from starting with Volume 3. They went for nothing off of that, except for the music. Thank God. Fair warning, by the way, no Volume 3 jokes, please.
Volume 3 jokes, I don't want to get started on that.
There's a time and a place for that, and with me in particular, I just have no tolerance.
You know what, I'm gonna go with the Bank Shishigami fucking go then.
Huh. Come to think of it, Tager. Okay, there's only really one thing I'd like to change with Tager. Faster walk speed. That is it.
That's basically it.
Akihiko, I'd say if you're gonna make his 2A like a 7-framer, make it a low. That's like the only thing I'd change with him at that point, because then he'd have so much good stuff to work with. But getting back on the S subject, like, her assists are great in neutral, her base toolkit is amazing. I think, like, JB is insanely good as a cross-up, JC is just retarded. The one thing I would like to see changed with that is maybe make it a little bit slower, but in return, more untechable time so that getting off your small basic combos are a little bit easier. But again, it just needs to be a little bit slower in my opinion so that you have enough time to react before it comes out.
That's it. Enough of the bullshit. Why? You get your finger force.
That's what I get for trying to command grab.
I just like how hard it is to just match 5A and the 2 by being two-way or something. No matter how many times you try, it just...
Oh boy.
I missed it. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to use that distortion at all.
Really now, that hits behind him. Okay, that was awkward.
Damn it. That's
Probably death. It's 6k, I think. Yep.
okay.
But, like, I think with S, I think need to slow down the 6p just a little bit. And 5p and 4p just less damage. Well, across the board, a little less damage.
I just realized I have resistance and I've been a pump. You're bad.
That's a habit that some people have. Like, I think her assists need a little bit less damage, and 6p just needs to be slightly slower. Those are, like, the main things that I think JC needs to be just a tad bit slower, but that's about it.
But I also like to point out how the fuck did Akihiko has a bang Shikami off it. No.
I don't even know. Akihiko, again, just making 2A low. We've discussed most of the characters at this point. But there's one in particular I've been meaning to bring up for the longest time. Oh, hey, you're taking in my beta team, you asshole.
Yes. Yes, I am. Watch me thoroughly disappoint you with Lune.
Yeah, and I'm about to really hate myself for this.
I forgot to use Wise in it.
No, it's not you hating me, it's me hating myself. I'm gonna refresh, because we're gonna be here for a bit.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I have been meaning to get to this one.
You're wrong though.
Ragnar really doesn't need to change. He's fine.
Yeah, Ragnar is fine as his own, but Jin, on the other hand,
And Jin, I'd say like the only thing that I don't care about with Jin, I mean his Resonance Toga got nerfed. Resonance Toga did get nerfed. You can actually trade with it on hit now. At this point, Jin kind of does need some degree of effort to fully maximize his damage, so I think for the most part he's perfectly fine. That actually reminds me, I actually recently found something really stupid with Jin.
I just realized something. Okay. Okay, if it is, let me just. Okay, like, hey, I was expecting Ragnar similar to, but if we do like a crash, resonance crash,
Jesus. But
I'm gonna piss you off and take your colors.
but regarding it with freaking Jin, we'll discuss that real quick though before Chie. With Jin, I'd say like the only thing I could see changing about him at this point, like literally the only thing, is maybe his 6p. Is maybe Ice Car not being a low or something, or I don't know. Like, I don't know what they would change with Jin at this point. I don't think they're gonna really change him at all, to be honest.
Remember Jin 6P.
6p, the thing is, it's kind of slow, and he can easily be hit before it's considered active. But I do agree, maybe that does need a little less block stun. That's about it. Maybe, I'm not sure. I don't know what they're gonna do with Jin. But let's refresh for a second, because I have a lot to say.
Is that kind of
Now, where do I fucking begin with GA? Yes, indeed. And, you know, that's been a running joke between us for the longest time once this patch dropped. And once I found out probably some of the stupidest shit regarding as to, like, why Chie is, in my opinion, the absolute worst character in the entire game. And you know very well, Random knows very well, this hurts me. And no, that isn't my gen color, but you took my Lene color, you asshole. Hey, don't lie. That does look good on her, but that's beside the point. Okay, so that assist right there, you saw that. The worst part is, he can vouch for me on this, that whiffs on a standing Hyde. Its hitbox is so bad. Her range on basically everything is just garbage except for 5B. Do we dare to show off the DP and why it sucks?
Go ahead.
Let's do this. 1, 2, 3. That was your cue to burst.
Oh.
Not what I meant. God damn it.
I'm gonna try to show it to Jen, so.
I'm just gonna store up like the meter for Jen just so I can actually get the show the bullshit. Are we really doing level 4 resonance Jin clashing?
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, who's got the better bullshit? Okay, ready? After 3 hits.
There you go.
You might want to get me out of the corner. Right there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that works on Jin! I never knew that. Yeah, the stupid part is, on some characters, that can actually miss. On most of the cast, that actually misses. I've tried.
I just feel over you. How does it feel?
It honestly feels like her Herculean strikes are not as safe on block as they should be. That was perfectly timed.
Let me just do this real quick.
3, 2, wrong one. Go for it. Oh wait, I gotta show something stupid. Oh, I didn't get the full thing. I didn't get the full thing, but that's like an example of some of the stupidest shit that Jin can do with Snowflake. Set that up, instant ice arrow, the rest of the Snowflake kicks in, 2C into the rest of Combo Trial 6. You can't deny that's beautiful.
Yeah, that was gorgeous, but no, that was the Jin clash.
That Toga setup, like, it's so disgusting that it beats itself.
Exactly. It clashes, but at the same time, it's like...
Its hitboxes don't run out. That's the beauty of it all.
Okay, I have Ragnar and...
Like, Toga's, for the most part, okay at this point. The only thing I will say is maybe a little more recovery. But getting back to Chie. Oh, God. The issue I have with Chie. Her assists are kind of mediocre at best and garbage at the absolute worst. Her Dragon Kick assist is terrible. That needs to be much lower to the ground and a major increase in the downward hitbox. Because seriously, why does that whiff on a standing Hyde?
I have no idea. They should...
A lot of her normals that should be able to reach, 5A, I'm looking at you, have no reach whatsoever. Her burst punish game is absolute garbage because 2B moves her forward, so that as an anti-air isn't really that good. It's also very awkward, and her DP is just complete trash. That DP needs some major fixing. Downward hitbox increase, please, and a massive one at that. Like, it's a counter that can't even do its job, and that's the problem.
It's Ragnar. Her Dragon Kick barely hits Ragnar.
Barely. And that's standing. Need I remind you? Okay, you might want to block this and then try and punish it. 4A would be your best call.
That's 4A.
That's 5. Okay. It feels like there's a lot of times where that's unsafe as shit on block. No, you're attacking too damn much. And there's the other problem. The fact that she has no reach kind of just means like other characters can literally just blow her up if they outrange her. Which, guess what? That's the entire cast. We gonna do the burst thing again real quick, just to really show this off? 3 hits and then burst. Why? You saw that, right? That right there. And you could have punished me for correctly reacting to burst.
Had a thing going, but it fucked up. Game. Why you do this to me?
Oh, that beats Toga clean. That's actually interesting.
It is.
I didn't even know you could actually beat it clean with something. Interesting. I actually never knew that, but that's beside the point. Yeah, the issue is that Chie really can't approach because her approach options are super limited. The only thing she really has is Agniastra and EX Herculean, which is still way too slow, by the way. And even if she does get in, you can just push block, and then she's back out of your reach again, to where the point you can just basically bully her for free. Her normals, I swear to God, they are stubbier than Yang's 5A half the time, and that's sad. Makoto's another one that I think we need to talk about, because may as well. But here's the thing. There's only one thing I would say you need to change with Makoto. For the love of God, give her actual assists. Oh God. Then we can discuss both of these guys for a second, because Jesus. Makoto's main problem is she's a solo character in a game with tag team mechanics. Let's make this quick, because I've got like a minute 40 seconds on this current.
Makoto was basically the most useless character ever.
Here's the thing. Her point game was always good. The problem is she was a solo character.
It's more useful as a solo instead of a,
She's a solo character in a game with tag team mechanics. That's the problem. So, really the only thing I would say to change with Chie is give her actual assists. I'm gonna refresh for a second, so don't do anything.
My bad.
I said don't do anything, you fool.
Yeah, you get a re-in. Okay.
That should be good.
You good?
We're good.
Okay.
But like I was saying, a lot of Makoto's stuff can be really dangerous if she gets going. The problem is her kit is solo based, and that's the problem. Like her point game is good, her assists are garbage. And in a game where assists are actually this important right now,
That's a different color already. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, what? Hold up, back up. How the fuck did that happen? How the fuck?
Chie was the one who hit you. Jim was just blocking. No, now you want to see something even, like, actually freaking retarded?
I am questioning TA.
Oh, I dropped it. I dropped the finisher. Oh, God. Thank you for reminding me.
Ow.
Thank you for reminding me of that for a second. We need to show something. Something that We can both agree, as people who know Persona pretty well, or at least I think you know Persona well enough.
I see Persona 4, Persona 3, no, I think Persona 3, Persona 4, and I need to catch up on Persona 5.
Okay, so you know enough about it to know why this makes no fucking sense. 1 second here, let me get out Chie again.
I already did my bit for TA. Hey, look, what do you know?
Actually, this is just as good to demonstrate this. Oh, wait. You need an anti-projectile character for a second.
I wanted to change my Tengu colors.
No, you need a character that at least, like, just Yukiko for a second, and when I tell you to, hold the DP.
Oh, where
You know what I'm talking about. You gotta know what I'm talking about. Don't say anything on this yet. Just get Yukiko out for a second and hold that DP when I tell you to. The thing is, okay, I'm going to explain this as soon as you see it, but for the time being, we're just going Narukami versus Jubei. Pretty much my Ultimax duo right now here. As much as I would love to play this over Narukami Jin, the issue is it's Chie. So here's the issue. Her stubby-ass normals means half the time she can't punish anything, her DP is complete trash, her assists are or complete garbage. Dragon Kick, I'm looking at you. A lot of her combo enders don't leave her close to the opponent, so she can't stick half the time even then. For fuck's sake, a lot of the shit she can do, you're never going to do for real because she can't approach in the first place half the time, and even then she gets outranged. Like, I could go on and fucking on as to why Chie is garbage. Initially, though, I did not want to not yet. Don't bring her out yet. Initially, I didn't want to believe she was the worst in the game. And then I found out something really stupid that makes no sense. Now's the time. Hold that DP. While holding that, she's completely immune to projectiles. Watch this.
What the fuck?
God's hand in this game is a fucking projectile.
Wouldn't Narukami be a projectile too?
All of his Zio moves are projectiles, yes. But God's hand? One more time. Because, let me explain why the fuck that makes no sense. Okay, real quick just to demonstrate. It's God's hand. And it's a fucking punch. So, that already raises red flags. But in the actual Persona games, and even you would know this, God's hand is a physical attack. No, I'm sorry, but God's hand is physical in the actual Persona games. So, why in the flying fuck? Is it a projectile? And situations like that. One more time. And, well, let's not do that. I'm sorry, but why is that a fucking projectile?
How is it projectile?
That's the best I can come up with. That was me trying to counter, and the counter frame's not lasting long enough. I'm sorry. And yeah, when someone who doesn't even know Yukiko can basically bully a Chie, you know something's wrong. Hell, you know, okay, just to talk about somebody who was in the lobby for a second, there's actually one particular player who's kind of a rookie, and even he basically wrecked Chie when I tried to play her. You know who I'm talking about, not going to mention names, but that's just how bad it was. And that's how bad it is. I'm sorry, but God's hand being a projectile, why?
Well, isn't Agniastra a projectile as well?
That, I think so. Although I don't get why the hell it's considered a physical attack, but what the fuck ever? Yeah, for some reason, raining down meteors is considered physical in Persona 4.
I just don't know why, though.
That I question. Okay, that I don't question being a projectile in this game because that makes more sense. God's hand is just... why? I mean, to be fair...
The soul of my Natsume.
To be fair... if that was the case in Persona 4, Chie wouldn't be anywhere near that disgusting, because Power Charge God's Hand was already insane, but Power Charge Agniastra is just... wow.
Just wow indeed.
Like, you're putting Yukiko on a team regardless because she learned Salvation, at least in Golden. I'm not sure if she learns it in the original.
You know the thing, and I'm going to answer everybody's question about why, going into the train, on the train tape.
There's nothing really going on in the background during this stage because some stages are actually not safe for online play half the time. School Gate is one of the biggest offenders of that.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be seeing stage variety, unfortunately, from me, but it's trying to reduce input lag, and that can be a problem.
Ow. Stop.
Oh, I was trying to do something really stupid, but that's beside the point.
I'm sorry, how?
Can never quite land that.
No.
Did you really? How about no? But yeah, like, you get my point at this point. This is probably going to be over in a few seconds anyway. There you go. There's another thing. The fact that that doesn't have any invul makes Agniastra not so bloody scary. Pun not intended there. And the sad part is, that's one of her best approaching options. And she can't stick. Yeah, now that I've proven my point, excuse me for a second while I refresh.
Just like, wow.
Yes, it is just like, wow. Let me put it to you this way. I've never seen a character have to struggle this much since Scrub Fighter 5 quote-unquote Ryu. Like, it's that bad.
Like, holy fucking shit.
And my Pro Controller battery is getting low. Brilliant. Good timing because we're almost about to wrap this up.
Yeah.
I'd say, like, the biggest things I'd like to see change with Chie. Making Herculean Strike have way less pushback on block, have her A1 at least be safe on block point blank, EX needs to start up faster. That's just the tip of the iceberg. A lot of her ground normals need to be given actual range. 2C, I think, needs... in general, I think her normals don't need to push back so far on hit in particular. Just so that combos can actually be done easier off of power charge. Dragon Kick Assist needs just a huge fucking buff across the board. That hitbox is terrible, and I think it needs to be lower to the ground overall. It's complete ass. Oh yeah, there are some other notable changes I forgot about with Chie. Oops. To be fair, like I said, if I were to explain everything I'd like to see change with her, we'd be here for quite a long time. Another thing about her Dragon Kick in general, it needs to have more untechable time on hit so that you don't end up getting royally screwed out of things. Because more often than not, if you're trying to active switch out of it during a cross combo, you're not going to have enough time to reach the character during the Dragon Kick's falling animation because they're going to be able to air tech afterward anyway. Another thing is, a lot of the time it feels like there's no reason to use it as a stable combo ender after the follow-up through her 236A in the Skullcracker and the Dragon Kick, primarily just because that one just bounces the opponent too far away. So I think the wall bounce should honestly be weakened in terms of how far back it goes. The other thing is, speaking of her Skullcracker follow-up, it was honestly nerfed in my opinion compared to how it was pre-patch. Now it launches back farther, which wouldn't be a problem if it weren't for the fact that assist combos are honestly screwed up by this. Also, a lot of her combos in general off of Resonance into Power Charge and the Gon's Hand. So, either completely revert it back to how it was pre-patch, or somewhat close, specifically the Skullcracker follow-up. So, it's at least something. Yeah, I know I'm probably asking for a lot, but hey, she really needs it at this point. Can you blame me?
I don't know why he had it there. And this is the part where he is on to go all out.
Yes, because we're wrapping things up fairly soon, so we figured may as well give some proper matches.
Get some good, actual decent fights instead of
Just discussing a bunch of characters.
basically.
But yeah, one thing I will say though, I freaking adore Chie to pieces. You know this, Hyde. So, the fact that I can't use her as a secondary for pretty much anybody, that's a problem. The closest thing I can think of to making her somewhat okay is Carmine. And even then, you may as well just play Carmine over Chie anyway.
I usually can also use projectile. And you can go DP just that.
Yeah, 5B is a freaking projectile, which is actually hilarious, but that's beside the point. Like, a lot of her normals need some actual reach so she can punish things properly, less pushback on hit and block so that they can actually stick. For the love of God, more block stun, because she's designed to be a pressure character. Like, I don't care if she can be outranged, just give her approach options, give her sticking power, and make her distortions actually good, please.
I'm probably gonna get hit in a loop.
And you just said no. Okay, that won't be quite... Yeah, that wasn't quite in the health threshold I needed. Nice call.
Yeah.
You know I'm looking for burst. What the?
What?
Hold on a minute, what just happened?
What?
Okay, that is definitely gonna be seen on playback, but what the fuck?
What? Huh?
Oh, and I got the link too, that's the best part of that.
Just...
Too early there? See, that's what I'm talking about with her 5B.
Oh, never mind. That's a dead movie.
That was cross combo purely for chain shift reasons, but that's beside the point. But yeah, regarding Chie's distortions, make God's Hand a body attribute attack, please.
Make God's Hand a more of a physical than a projectile.
Agni-Astra, just give it some slight startup invul, even if it's not much. It's gotta be something since you have to use it in the air anyway.
Just like...
In general, I would say adjust the knockback on hit so that it at least links into itself more consistently as well. And power charge is fine where it is.
Power charge is fine with that, but it's just like... spinning your thing and give it power charge.
It's like, the issue is that, like, a lot of the time you can't really follow up so consistently.
I would say Agni-Astra's...
The other thing I will say is, like...
It's more faster, but at the same time...
Now, Agni-Astra, except at that one point, except for the fact that it has a lack of invul, is fine.
The lack of interval is just easily fixed entirely.
It's her best way to approach, and it's her good resonance chip tool, and this will probably be the last game, so I'm going to wrap up, like, the final things I'm going to say about Chie. Like,
Yeah.
in general, like, her normals just need better hitboxes, more reach, less freaking pushback across the board, and more freaking block stun so that she can at least have some sticking power. She needs to be able to stick when she gets in. Her A Herculean needs to be a better approach tool, I feel, so a lot less pushback on blocks there as well. So that she at least has something meterless to work with. In general, Dragon Kick Assist is just terrible. Herculean is pretty good now, I will say. And her 4P just being mediocre, I'm fine with.
Ow. Ow, ow, ow. Don't point at Hyde.
But, yeah, in general, like, there's just so much wrong with Chie that I could still go on for a while.
Ow, 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 ow. That's already hit high.
No, it's not. That's going to be scaled back horribly. Oh, I thought you were going to call assist and an active switch to get Hyde out of there, which would have been smart. No.
Hey, how you doing? Deadline.
Oh, God. That's how you wrap things up.
Should it be a dick now? Or nah, I'm not gonna be dick.
Yeah, because we got to end this in style somehow. Come on.
That's true. Well,
Did she save a line? No, she didn't. She didn't do the right pose. Damn, that would have been so funny. Finish with Astral. Oh, Ruby, your big sis won. Yeah, exactly. That's what made it so hilarious. But that's beside the point. But yeah, in general, like, the main thing I'd say with Chie, I'm just going to say this one last time. Her normals need some reach. They need block stun, less pushback across the board. In general, she just needs more sticking power. At least a couple more ways to approach. God's Hand, make that a fucking body attribute attack, please. Agniastra, yeah, that's basically the main things. Power Charge is fine, but that's about it. And Dragon Kick Assist. Good God. Just fix all those and she'll actually be a threat. She'll actually be a pretty damn good brawler character. But yeah, that's basically everything we have to say about at least some of the characters. We're not covering all of them because we'd be here forever. We don't know what's going to happen, but there's also something else we can discuss another time, but we'll get to that later. But until then, that's basically it.
That's basically it, but in the next podcast, we actually talk about the fixes that I've been putting it out for the past few streams.
Yeah, but with that, see you guys.